Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of that One Time Podcast. Today, we have joining us the MacGyver of it all, Silas North.
Hello.
We have the five-time champion, Legend of Dre.
Five time, five time, five time, five time, five time.
Uh, and we have our resident streamer, the Silent Assassin, voiced Boom.
Greetings and salutations.
Thought
Oh,
Dre was about
man.
to do a spin a Rooney out of his chair.
I was waiting on it.
I was waiting to hear the bum 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 bum.
He looked at his hand and everything. He was like, I was waiting on it.
It's the table. Oh man, hope everyone's having a great day. So today, we're gonna be talking about the crazy video game month that was February and all the goodness that was released within it.
Oh, it's gonna
I-
be a long episode. Oh.
Right, right.
Wow.
Oh man. So I guess first we can talk about what was the first one that dropped out of there. So the games that we're talking about is gonna be Sifu, Destiny, Witch Queen, Horizon Forbidden West,
Dying Light 1,
uh,
right?
yeah, Dying Light 2, and Elden Ring, and WWE. Was it 2K22?
22. Yeah.
Yeah.
22? Yeah, yeah. All these dropped in the same month. So, well, actually, technically, WWE came out in March, early part of March. So, but we're going to lump it all in there together as well. So, I guess we start off with Sifu. Who here's played Sifu?
I've watched it. I've watched a lot of it.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of it too. Haven't gotten it yet,
Oh
but
man.
go ahead, break it down for us, Snarf. What did you think of Sifu? And then give it on. I guess what kind of scale y'all want to use? 1 to 10, S tier. Well, let's use our S tier scale that we use. Same thing for
Yeah.
Marvel. So we'll keep it consistent. What do you think?
Unique. All right, if you I'm a big kung fu fan. I like the old movies. That's what I grew up watching. Jackie Chan,
No.
Jet
What are
Li.
you doing
Exactly.
here?
That's the only thing that was missing from that game. Everything was synced up perfectly. Damn, it's a trip. Cause all right, so it's pretty much it's a revenge plot. The spoiler alert. Um, and it is a roguelike because when you die, you lose all your stuff and you start back from the beginning.
Right.
The mechanic is every time you die, you age. You lose access to some stuff, but you gain access to other stuff. Yeah, it's a kung fu revenge flick, and just it's the intro is just so hype. It's just I don't know how to explain it, but as I was playing it with Tony on in Discord. We started up at the same time, and then our reactions were like, "Holy shit, yo, yo, yo!" I felt like a little kid again. It was a trip. Then I actually played the game. Like got into it. Game's kind of hard. Game's pretty hard. Like any roguelike, you you're low level at first, but in this game it just seems like even your upgrades that you get don't help you substantially. You just have to get good at the game.
Get good.
Yeah, it's like your skill with the game translates to how far you're gonna go. Which is yeah, you could say that about any game, but it's not like your abilities are gonna help you
Area.
to yeah
It's like being black. Like, you
yeah.
don't really have a lot of privileges in life, so you just gotta figure this shit the fuck out.
Your abilities won't carry you.
Yeah. Um, it's
Oh,
it's
oh boy.
like the story's there, but it's a basic concept. Go around killing the people that killed your Sifu.
Mhm.
Where would you rank the difficulty in terms like to Returnal and to Elden Ring? Is it somewhere? Is it like as hard as Elden Ring as I've been hearing, or is it harder than Returnal?
I think you have to put
About
that on a
equal?
10-point scale. You can't even put that on a 5-point scale. It's got to be a 10-point scale.
it's 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 different. Like
Different.
I can power through Elden Ring.
Hmm.
I like Souls games, and I can go through all the Souls games. And it's fine. Sifu, it's just I think it's really what I'm lacking is maybe patience and how difficult it is because you just got to learn to dodge. You got to learn the people's
It's Daniel
movements.
son.
You got to
And
learn
yeah,
kung fu.
I think the main thing in Souls games is kind of the controls work against you. You know, the way the game is built, you have the queue up with your attack system. You know, it's not perfect. Well, it's designed intentionally that way. Your attacks are slow and you got to find your openings. Same thing with Sifu, but everything is snappy. So, like, when you want to do something, you're doing something. And when you want to dodge, you're dodging. Um, so I don't know. I haven't beaten Sifu yet.
Different
format.
Elden Ring. It's just a matter of time before I beat it. I feel. Uh, Sifu, I could come back to it in like a year.
And
I
it'd still
feel
be good.
like it'll be something that I turn on when I'm over time.
Got one
You're not in
question.
a rush to play it, but it's something that you do want to play.
Oh
Did you
yeah,
strike first?
because like I can't at the point I'm at. I'm not good enough at the game to beat it. Elden Ring, yeah, I could beat it in a couple of seconds. Not in a couple of seconds. I can beat it
45
by the
Wait,
end
minutes,
of
what?
the week.
apparently. Apparently, you can beat it in 45 minutes.
No,
From
no,
what
no,
I've
no,
seen.
no.
So would you give it on like our tier scale? We had what S A B C D.
It's it's a hard game. Um, um, A.
Give it A.
A
Solid A.
plus.
Good, 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 good,
Yeah,
good.
there's something I want to say about all the games that came out this month, where Sifu really stands out. All the AAA games are open world games. Like if you look at it, Dying Light,
Hmm.
Horizon, Elden Ring, those are the big three that came out. Sifu is, you know, the linear progression level session. So it stands out that way as opposed to everything else that came out. And it's like playing Dying Light, I get the open world aspect, but it's a lot of collectible stuff, it's a lot of reused missions. Elden Ring, uh I'll save my Elden Ring for when we bring it up because it while it is open world, it's different.
Let's
We're
let's
yeah
let's roll right into that one then. Let's roll right into the big dog of the month, as everybody claiming Elden Ring, the big dog. Well, to most people, the big dog of the month. I'd say Witch Queen was just as big, but that's a continuation of a game versus Elden Ring being brand new hotness. So
Right.
Elden Ring, the hype, the legend that it all was generating, was it worth it, Snarf? How does it rank compared to the other Souls games? Because you're the only one that played it, right? No one else has played it. I've been watching a lot of it, but I haven't played it myself.
yeah I
Elden Ring.
played
I refuse to get myself that frustrated.
Right.
it.
And the co-op isn't what I would like it to be, so I was like,
Yeah,
not this time.
co-op is Souls like.
Hmm. So so like you said, you just comparison to Sifu. In comparison, what did you think?
um, fantastic, fantastic for a Souls game. It's um as it was coming out, the hype behind it. It's like it's another Souls game. It's good. It's good in that respect. The scale.
It's impressive.
I filled out my map. Like you can see when you start out, your map is in a box and you need to find areas. It's like the fog of war stuff. So I filled out the fog of war, and then I was like, "Oh, what's at the edge of this map? You know, is there like a wall? Not a wall. There's more map.
It's
My
not a
box
wall.
just
It's
got
a
bigger.
map.
The box just got bigger. So And that was like maybe a lot of hours into it that I realized that the starting map is just not even the whole game. It- um, there's something I wanted in open world games. The it a lot of open world games are, go to this spot, do this, get your waypoint, do this. I wanted a game where you could really like you don't know what you're doing. You got a general
Exploration.
direction. It does not hold your hand. Like it gives you general hints, but it's like you really got to pay attention to where you're going if you want to do something relevant.
Mhm.
Yeah, they just put you on a map. They give you a general north, south, east, west direction on where the bosses are, and in no particular order. And you're just walking around, finding new dungeons. The exploration is something I really wanted in a long time. It's
Mhm.
does
Like
not
a
hold your
true
hand.
open world feeling.
Yeah, it does
Gives
not
you a
hold your hand.
sense of exploration. Yeah, no hand holding, which I think a lot of games got to get away from. I understand
Kind
there
of
are people.
like Fallout. Fallout was like really open world where it didn't
Yeah,
have a
yep.
specific waypoint. You just
Yeah,
I
had to
feel
figure
like
that shit out.
when open world games first came out, they were like that. They didn't do a lot of hand holding. They gave you an objective, they told you a general area where it may be, and then they just let you off. And then somehow we got to the point of here's this weird point. Climb this tower. Oh, you unlocked and see all this now. Now go over here, go over there. And it's like your map is covered, all this stuff. It's like, okay. No one
yeah.
really likes that. Like, no, you should just put it in the options. Like, hey, if I want to see where something is at, put it on my map. Otherwise, I can have an option to turn it off where I can just explore and have fun with it. Like,
um,
yeah,
definitely. Thing with this game, as far as combat goes, or as the difficulty, right? In my opinion, the other Dark Souls games or Bloodborne games, magic wasn't. It was more viable to do a melee build than to dump all your stats into magic and stuff. In this game, I feel all builds are viable because you have a stealth mechanic. Your magic is pretty powerful. You can scale it, but it's not too powerful, Some bosses just like demolish you depending on your build.
hmm
Um so as far as difficulty goes, you can take advantage of the system mechanics it gives you to make the game less hard. Like you can summon spirits to have the boss distracted while you bomb it from afar. It's they give you a lot of stuff to make the game easier.
You just gotta know what this stuff is.
You just have to know what that stuff is, and that's the part, right?
or find it.
Like again, they're not hand holding you, so you may not know what you need to use to make the game to get an advantage. And you can brute force your way, but you're gonna have a hard time. And you can brute force your way if you're good enough.
Like Mega
Which,
Man.
yeah, exactly. Like you don't know where the armors are, but
I don't know how many people I've been watching on Twitch play it, and then they find this. Oh my God, that was in the game. This would have made this so much easier. And it's like, well, you should have learned the mechanics first, or you should have been doing some exploration. So
yeah. But it's
yeah,
like it's not even something. 90% of the time, it's not even their fault. Like, where do you
Yeah.
go? Like nobody's gonna have the same. Nobody's gonna go
ex-
to the same place right off the bat.
right, insane
You
path. Yeah,
dropped in the middle left corner of the map, and go somewhere, do
Wouldn't it
something.
be wouldn't it be even crazier if they dropped you in like random places on the map, depending on like it just queued you up in a random fucking place, like everybody didn't start in the same place?
I'll wait for the
that
mod.
would be
I'll wait
dope.
for the mod for that.
That would be
That would be
crazy.
dope.
That would
Nobody
be
would have the same experience at all.
so
At all.
that each area of the map is like leveled, like where you're not supposed to be.
Right.
Am I supposed to whap dead? Okay, not supposed to be
Yeah,
here.
not supposed to be here.
That's fair.
Mm.
So will you give it? Rank it.
Um, Souls.
Individually, just as an individual game, you
As
can't
an
try to compare it to anything else.
ew, it's good. It's good, but it's for a target audience. um, S tier.
S
I don't
tier.
know.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
nice.
Respectable.
S tier. Expected. All right, and I guess we transition over. Let's transition over to Destiny. Destiny 2 Witch Queen, because while it is a DLC, it kind of, I would say, revitalized the franchise and brought it to a point where if you hadn't played in a long time, it put you on equal footing with everyone else. Um,
Mhm.
so we'll start off with Boom. Thoughts, opinions. What would you think, Boom?
It's fucking good, man. Like, it's just really good. I honestly, going through all of the campaign, and then playing a lot of the side missions and things like that, and then just even most recently this week playing the raid.
Mhm.
This is probably my most favorite expansion of the Destiny franchise, like across the board. Like this raid is probably the best Destiny raid in the franchise across the board, at least in my opinion.
I
At
was
least in
gonna
my opinion.
ask,
I
do you?
honestly think it's better than Taken King. I
Yep, there
honestly
you
think it's
go.
better than Wrath of the Machine. I do. Like for me, it's that good. For me.
It's
For
that
me, it's that
damn
good.
good.
Um I'm really big on, especially when it comes to raids, I'm really big on like not necessarily a hard difficulty, but something that really makes the team have to work together as opposed to three people doing something and the other three people are just kind of just there. And this is
Gotcha.
one of those
What's
raids
what?
where it requires a lot of teamwork, requires precise communication in order to reach your goal in a short amount of time. So I think like getting through the raid, there's a difference between feeling relieved that you beat the raid and like, yo, that was good. I would do it again. And I got the ladder on that one. Like it was difficult, but after beating, it's just like, yo, I want to play this again. This is some good stuff. This is
It's
some good
like
stuff.
you beat it, and instead of like, all right, don't want to do it again. No, it's like you beat it, man. Let's run that again. Like it
Hmm.
encourages you to want to keep playing.
Exactly. I think them also giving us a system of craftable weapons allows for a lot more replayability. Um, you're able to put in that time, and then you feel like your time is valued in the weapons that you're going to get and be able to use, and then enjoy
Versus
the game however you're going to use it.
or
Exactly. Versus RNG, it's just like I might play this game for 2 years straight and not get the gun I've been trying to get. You know,
Mhm.
yeah. Hopefully, hope to God it doesn't take 2 years, but you know, I'm just using it just as an example. I could go that long and still not get the role that I want to, as opposed to grinding for 2-3 weeks and then I have exactly what I want, right?
X
And
Mythic
so,
class still evades me.
yeah, me too, me too. And nobody's playing VOG anymore, so
Right.
I might never get it.
What do you think, Dre?
Um, just like I was telling Boom last night, I feel like they finally separated the game. Um, as he mentioned that last year's DLC with what was the name of that DLC again?
Beyond Light.
Beyond Light. There was a they gave you they gave us a lot to do, but I feel like we got through it so fast. It was like, okay, we've done everything. I guess only thing left to do is PvP. I feel like they gave us a lot more than what they gave us in Beyond Light. So I'm perfectly fine not playing PvP. Like with Void 2.0, I got
3.0.
my 3.0, I got my gear set up to a point. It's like I'll just run around open world and just blow shit up and I'll be perfectly fine.
Wreck Havoc, right?
Yeah, I kind of agree with him on that. And as much as I love PvP, and everybody knows here how much I love PvP, I really haven't been pressed to play it that much this week and last week. Like I told Dre, like I've really put my time into crafting a PvE build, and I love that build. And I'm just like, I don't want to do PvP right now. I don't want to do it. I don't want to
Yeah.
do it.
It almost
And
feels like
So
they're slowly getting away from PvP. But go ahead, Dre.
you said, say again. You said what?
I said, it almost seems like they're slowly getting away from it. Like they're
I wouldn't
trying to build the
necessarily
game
say
into two
that.
separate, very distinct experiences.
but
I,
but
I
that's what
think
they're trying to do because that's what the audience want.
they
Like,
have to. They have to get to a
yeah,
point where it's somewhat substantially different. I don't
mm,
think it's ever going to fully be separate, but it's got to be substantially different because what works in PvE is not going to necessarily work in PvP.
and
And
that's how it
especially when it
should
comes
be.
to exactly, especially when it comes like balancing and stuff like that. There's just certain things that you can't let be as powerful as they are in PvE. And honestly, at the end of the day, who's complaining about their teammate wiping something with a couple shots versus in PvP where it's just like, yo, he shouldn't be able to do that to me. So you're always going to hear a lot more complaints about how things work in PvP than they do in PvE. So as long as they're not really game breaking, they're going to just let you rip shit up in PvE, right? So
Right. And yeah, so I really like it. I haven't even touched the raid yet. That's how much I'm liking it. Like
Right.
both stories, granted, it's all one story, but I feel like there are like three separate stories. You have Finch story, which is post Savathun. You have Savathun's story, which is the main story, and now you have the psyops um with Kaido and
Saladin,
my boy Saladin
Crow,
and Crow.
it's so
So
multifaceted as far as the story.
we
Yeah.
got we got three stories focusing on one.
and
But I
granted,
see everybody doing like three different stories. Some people just focus on the main story. Some people like, man, I just want to do Finch story. And you got some people's like, man, this psyop story is,
shout out to the
good.
voice actor for Finch. He did an amazing, superb job. Like you don't too often we don't get too many of the good voice actors for the Ghost. Like off the top of your head, you can remember your original Ghost voice, which everyone loved. Got rid of him. Uh,
I
Which is
Peter
mean,
what's his
Peter
name from
Tinklage
Game of
Dinklage.
yeah,
Thrones.
Peter Dinklage. Yeah,
it
Peter
was
Dinklage. Yeah,
nobody liked him when it came out, but
yeah,
like
yeah.
as you grow
After the
Painful
accustomed
lizard,
to
Lovely.
him,
we want you
and
back.
then it's like you were bad, and you did your voice lines in a bathroom, but can you go back?
Yeah, like it's like
Baby,
we know
come
you can
back.
do better, and we wish you had did better, but now we want you to come back and do better.
Like in this DLC, it sounds like Nolan North voices everybody. Like I don't know.
That
Like
man has.
I don't even think Ikora is voiced by the person they said it is. Probably just Nolan North.
Super intense. Everybody's just so intense.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's. I think they voice acting kind of
Ramped up.
not ramped up like because they had Nathan Fillion, a bunch of big names, but I don't know. It just feels like bitch. It sounds like I don't know who the voice actor is, but I'm pretty sure it's Nolan North. They have another character in there. I'm pretty sure it's Nolan North. They have like two other characters in there. Pretty sure it's Nolan North. They all sound like the same dude that's doing different voices. Like, hi, my name is Nolan North. I'm voice acting for this. My name is Nolan North. I'm the voice acting for this. He's just doing different voices. And it's like, yeah, he has range, but like, maybe get somebody that sounds.
all the people working in the office, I could just pull into a booth and just try it out.
Yeah,
Right.
just like, yeah.
Oh man,
Or
So
like
they need
some
they needed these
up and
lines
coming voice
today, and he was the
actor.
only one who was here.
right.
But the
So
fact that I'm
hey,
Oh,
complaining about that means they stepped up their story game. So like,
this is true. The story is absolutely amazing. I think
I was
and
gonna
they've
say,
there's four, and there's actually four. I forgot the whole weapon crafting aspect, the investigation board.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So they got four stories in one
Did you include the one
DLC
from the
focused
raid?
on
Because
one
if not, that's
thing.
5.
yeah, that weaves it all together. Yeah.
Did you include the story for Rolk, or as I like to call him, R Hulk? Did you
our
include his story?
Well, but that's part of the raid, though, right?
Yeah,
Rage
but
Hulk.
Yes and no, because there's the what is
Gives you
the
the
West Ham
backstory
missions?
to the witness, really.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
So like him and the
I
witness are
haven't
kind of
even
like,
got. Well, I haven't even got
yeah.
to the
See,
raid yet.
Oh, he
So
doesn't know.
see,
When they
yeah. He
dropping
so
that
did.
bomb on you,
there's
it's
like
like,
six.
It's
There's
is
six
somebody gonna
damn
tell him?
stories.
Is somebody gonna tell him? Yeah. No,
Uh,
it's good, man. It's just so good. Like over the last year, especially in Beyond Light, I think the difference as far as their storytelling is they put so much more in front of you as opposed to you having to go get it off screen. And they've really immersed you in the story. It's just like, oh, this is really going on. Oh, this is building up. Oh, I see this happening. Oh, I can't wait. As opposed to before, like if you weren't reading the Grimoire cards, you were lost. You're
yeah.
just like, bro, what is
No,
happening? Like I don't
just
know
listen
what's
to
happening.
Bife.
have time to
Yeah.
explain. We don't have time to explain.
And so exactly, I don't have time to explain what I have time to explain.
Like I feel like I don't have to go running into Bife just to understand what's going on or just
Exactly.
feel deep immersed into the story. It's like, all right,
Exactly. I can
Bife,
go to
I'll
you for
listen to you
nuggets
after
and
I
stuff.
finish all this.
Yeah, I can go to you for like nuggets and stuff that kind of help me further understand. But as far as like the actual story, I can follow that on my own, and it pulls you into the game that much more. Just like, yeah, no, I'm here. I'm here. This is it. This
Gotta
is where I'm at.
give very credit where it's due and credit to Bungie. This is a developer who's been through 3 different publishers with the same game, and they've maintained their product. And I will say this is the only games as a service game that is actually good and has done their job. They from the day they release till now, back in D1, they've gotten progressively better. They've had some moments where they dip down, beginning of D2. Ugh. Um, because where you left D1 at and where you started D2 at, it was
Yeah.
not great. And we see that may have been more of Activision's sticking their fingers in the jar than letting Bungie do what they do, because how fast they corrected that and made Destiny way better as a product says a lot. And if you're going to do games as a service, this is the model to follow, and I don't see any other game that has managed to do that yet. Destiny is the only game that's managed to do what they have done in that genre. No other game has lasted. Division, bleh, it fell off, not as good. What are
I
the
mean,
some games that try to do what they that games as a service model that
I think a lot of MMO games. Destiny's getting more MMO like.
is?
Their their builds, they have more status effects. How you can stack the synergy between teams, and I respectfully I disagree. Games as a service model like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy Online, like they're you
Oh,
know
those are the 2 good ones. You're right. Sorry, yeah, those.
world
Well,
you
World
know
of Warcraft being the OG
yeah,
MMO model, but it's locked behind PC. So, like,
World of Warcraft like now like I would consider it dying off, but Final Fantasy solid
yeah,
since they blew
yeah.
up the world restarted.
Right, and there's another one that started off bad. Like you're right, those are 3 games. Well, I'll stick to console. Those 2, Final Fantasy and Destiny, are the only 2 that have really gotten it right. And Final Fantasy didn't start off in a great place at all. I mean, it
DCUO.
was.
Nah,
Let's not forget DCUO.
I'll forget.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was not.
yeah.
I don't know how y'all can play that for multiple years.
Yeah, we played it for like 4 years. It was so good. What you mean?
But some of it had DCU. Some of it you had no choice because the PSN outage happened, and that's the only thing that worked.
This is true. This was the only game we had to play, and so
Okay, okay.
me and Dre got real good at that game real quick. I was like, PSN
But
down. All right, you know where I'm at. And then when PSN came back, it's just like, but I like it here now.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, and Destiny's the story, what they've done with the story, how they've been slowly feeding to us and bringing the plot threads together. Like, if you stop playing Destiny at Taken King in D1, I would say pick up Witch Queen. Don't play any other DLC. Just pick up Witch Queen, and you can pick all. You will not feel like you missed pretty much anything. You won't feel like you've missed anything. Anything you've done before this point really doesn't matter. I mean,
Oh,
it's so many. We
sorry.
say. No, I was like, it's so many activities in the game. You don't feel like it's a drag to power up. I mean, you have a lot of things to do.
If anything,
Um,
I don't have enough time to do everything.
Yeah.
right, exactly. Your
Mhm.
powers are amazing in the game now. They don't feel stagnant. they matter, and going forward, they give us a blueprint. If they did this with Void 3.0, I can't wait till they get to Arc 3.0 and Solar 3.0. I
Oh, people are
mean,
which
gonna hate the
is
game when that happens.
happening this year, right?
I believe it's happening
uh,
this year. I think.
Yeah.
I
Don't
think
quote me on
Arc
that.
is going to be the last one because the one of the game design developers said in the psyops activity where you throw on the synaptic spear, there's like some of those moves you're doing, how you can dash with the spear and jump real fast, and those things are going to transition to Arc 3.0. They said
Yeah.
using it as a test basis, so I was like, ooh, that's gonna be
I'm not gonna
nice.
lie, because I just realized yesterday I could blink with that
Yeah.
damn synaptic sphere. I was like, oh shit.
Right. And then I was like, so if they doing that with Arc, I gotta imagine what Solar's going to be. That, like I said, those are going to be very, very nice. So I can't wait to see what they're going to do. And even the story, like this is the first time I can say I'm interested to see where the story of Destiny is going. Like the
It's so
implications you
good right now,
learn
man.
from
Yeah.
when you doing the raid and how it opens up a backdrop on the story, and you're like, wait a minute. Before you thought like, oh, the two most powerful beings was this and that, and then you learn, wait a minute, no,
Yeah.
like it just opens up everything so much more. Go
The
ahead, Sal.
And
end
then
the end of the campaign, you find your next enemy. Like that's like you all these years wondering about this abstract enemy, he's physical now. He's here. And spoilers, the raid is the first time you're fighting his actual forces. So it's um I felt at the end of it like, all right, we bodied him. The boss ain't gonna be a problem. You know,
Mhm.
like we're ready. We the future doesn't look so hopeless as it.
I think and then I think the other great thing about Destiny is they have so much going on lore wise. There's really no downtime. And I think they do it in a way, and I think the model, like you said, the service model and the seasonal model works in their favor because everybody can't always get screen time at the same time. So
Yep.
like even though you've got these 4 or 5 different stories going on right now and they're so very immersive, you've got these other beings in the background just say, okay, well what about Callus? What's going on with him? What's going on there? You know, where's Crow been? And we need the backstory of all that's what's been going on. Eris Morn just keeps popping up and out of places. Mara Saw's popping up and out of places. All these people that aren't getting the most screen time. What's going on with these people, right? And
Speaking of
so
Callus, they gave us a hey, here's an update. This is what he's been doing. You're like, oh shit, the exotic mission is like that was another plot thread that they
I
just.
missed that. What happened? Where's Callus at?
Oh,
So
you did the Vox Obscura mission?
you, the Vox Obscura mission, you got to take out rebel forces against Keitel, right? So all those Cabal are going against Keitel.
Mhm.
Find out at the end, Callus is funding them.
He's making all the scions turn on her,
Mm.
enticing them with the darkness, and so he's finally got it. I'm
Mm.
thinking he's a disciple now.
Yep.
Yep. So
Mm. So he got
yeah.
his own ship. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
need his Leviathan. I done upgraded, baby. Yeah, put
Exactly.
these ribs on this pyramid, baby.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, I would highly encourage everyone to play it. I mean, especially being that Sony just brought them the stuff they can learn from
The
Bungie
sky's
going
the
forward,
limit,
and
man.
with what Bungie can learn from Sony as well. Like if Bungie's storytelling is already this good, and they can learn some more stuff from Sony, who we know their storytelling is usually top notch, is that's just gonna be amazing.
The game really has something for everybody.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
it's got a lot of great lore. It's got a lot of, like you said, craft building and MMO qualities to it. It's a looter shooter. It's a first person shooter. It really has something for everybody.
So I think
Try
we're
it.
all in agreement that it's S tier. This
Well,
yeah,
all
Yeah,
right,
no,
all
it's
right.
goaded.
Oh yeah.
Let's
definitely S
temper
tier.
expectations. We are Destiny fans.
Yes.
We raid together. That's how we met. Well, not you guys, but us together. Um, it's a game that we continue to play. We're gonna buy the next expansion no matter what. If you're coming into this game, it
Be
might be
overwhelming.
daunting. Like any
Mhm.
MMO, you drop in the middle of it, it's gonna be a little bit daunting. But don't worry, there's plenty of people out there.
You got to
Um,
learn to love it. It's
yeah,
one of those games you got to learn to love. Like I said, when you first come in, it can be a little overwhelming, and some people aren't geared to go through that grind to enjoy it. But if you're a person who plays those grindy games, the payoff is there.
Yeah.
And granted, even though you say that, I took a break from Destiny for a long time. I mean,
I know.
almost a
I
year.
remember.
Almost a
It
year.
was a rough year. I was there by myself.
Jared was carrying the flag by himself. I got it. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it's a great game. People should try it out. And then we have Dying Light 2. Uh, here who I know me and Snarfer played it. Boom and Dre, did y'all play it at all?
I experienced it, but I did not play it myself. I mean,
Okay,
y'all know I'm not a zombie game person, but I'll
right.
watch it. Like I actually enjoyed watching that game. It's pretty
Eh,
good.
I think I can say it's not a bad game. It's not a bad game. You can definitely tell there were some issues during development because it feels fragmented at times. Like something's missing. The original Downlight was amazing. Like, and this one is good, but I feel like there was something that was left from the first one that didn't make it into the second one. If that makes any sense, like it's a disconnect there between the first one and the second one somehow. The story is very good till you get to the ending. Um, the gameplay is not as good as the first one, in my opinion. They expanded on a couple of things. The traversal is better, in my opinion. The traversal is way better in two than it is the first one.
I mean, don't look at
Graphics
my
are way
face. Don't you keep on going
better.
because we're about to have words. Continue, please.
Some of the glitches in the game early on hold it back, but they've
Features,
been slowly fixing the
features.
they've been fixing those. But I like it. I mean, me personally, I would give it a B tier. I would give it a B tier. Um, go ahead, Snarf. Go ahead, because I know I see your face. You're like, what?
I think that if you like Dying Light 1, you're gonna like Dying Light 2.
Can agree with that,
They
100%.
do everything a little bit better, in my opinion. Um, Story in Dying Light 1 was meh. Story in Dying Light 2 is meh. But you don't play Dying Light for the story. You play it to jump off a building and drop kick the shit out of a fucking zombie. And then climb up said building running away from a zombie horde. It's parkour
Right.
zombies. It's great. um Open worlds can get monotonous over time. You got to collect a lot of materials for certain lot of stuff. Like it's a dredge in certain parts, but like it's a dredge the same way number one was, and it's way more expansive.
It
They
is a big world.
I've only gone through one story path.
Hmm.
I haven't gone through multiple. I think the game is significantly different when you choose to go different paths. Like I get that feeling, but I actually don't know. But I think at the end of it, there's only 4 endings that are that are mostly the same with some differences. So
They from what people have been playing, they've comparing the endings as like the choices really don't matter as much, and then when you get to end, it's slightly different. But they said that you can tell, like the reason I said that about the something was left because how abrupt the game may end, and they leave it open with like more room to continue, which you know they're gonna do. They already said they're gonna support the game for the next, what did they say, 5 years or something like
really,
that. So
They
yeah,
said that, and
they
then we'll
said
see how
that,
things
right.
go this first year.
Right. So it's like, and their director left the game. I think they had two directors leave the game in the middle of making it, and so it's like when they first showed it off, and then what we got, you're like, okay, there were some things they scaled back, which always happens during
And they're
game
a small
development.
company too, all right?
Yeah, they're not a real big company. No,
yeah, and they
5 years
self
sounds like a
publish.
lot.
They self publish. They develop. It's like, dude,
a
5
lot.
years sounds like
props,
a lot.
props.
Hmm.
Yeah, big props, but 5 years sounds like a lot. I
Yeah,
don't know
and,
if
and
we'll make
Down
it to
Light One,
5
they
years.
supported for that long as well. So,
I mean,
like I
No,
said,
they're basically an indie company. Like
no, they
not
are. They are.
like Dying Light 2 is like it's a AAA game. It is, but it's an indie game with by the definition.
They don't have the talent or size is not excuse me, not talent. They don't have the size and resources as all the other AAA developers out there at all, like at all. But they still managed to put out a great product. And me giving it a B isn't like downplaying it. It's just compared to other things that all came out this month. It's like
Yeah.
I still love it. I still play it. I'm still playing it, but I just in comparison to Sifu and Witch Queen and Elden Ring, it's
Yeah.
we gave two S tiers, A tier, and this is a B tier. I would definitely rank Sifu over this,
Yeah, and
but it is what it is.
that's the thing. Like all the games that came out this month, besides Sifu, I just realized that like open world games, there's a lot of padding. There's a lot of
Fluff.
fluff. And having played Dying Light, then into Elden Ring, it's just like
Slog sometimes.
yeah. It's like it's a 40-hour game, but does it feel like the quality of content is 40 hours? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. And that's like I said, my biggest gripe with Dying Light. They don't make it feel. The story is like so much up and down. Like it's get good, and then it's like, huh? And it's like good, and then huh?
And
Huh?
the characters are like all right. So like Rosario Dawson's in the game. I didn't even know that before I played it.
Mhm.
I was pleasantly surprised, but she hates you like in the beginning of the game, and then on a turn of a dime, she's your best friend. It's like
Yep.
the story, the writing is
All over the place.
very very mediocre. You know what I'm saying?
Like
But
it's like you
Rosario
can tell
Dawson's in it.
somebody was writing this. I have an idea where it's going, and then they dropped it, and then someone's like, "Hey, we're hiring you. Can you finish what they started?" Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
And then
but
they just like
it's
ran with it.
it's also more like simple, right?
Mhm.
It's like we need you. We need this character to hate you. Now we need this character to be on your side. Now they're your best friend, and it does that for multiple characters. Like, all right, same shit in the first game.
I love you.
Yeah, like if you play the first game, that's
What is this,
exactly what
baby
happened.
boy?
He said
You,
this-
Jody.
Oh, Jody.
So and yeah, but it is a good game. I'm not gonna bash it. It's definitely worth a purchase if you were a fan of the first one. And what do we have last that we didn't talk about yet?
Has anybody played Horizon yet?
I was about to say we haven't
I
talked about
have, yeah.
Horizon.
We didn't talk about
You
Horizon.
have?
That's
That's
what it
all
was.
you, because I have not.
Yeah, you haven't played it yet.
There's
Son?
too many open world games. It takes a while. And I refuse to play multiple games at once. You know?
I agree with you there. I agree with you there. Mind
See,
you, it's
that's
the
the
one
problem.
I've played
That's
the
my-
least. It's the
That's
one
my
I've played the
problem.
least.
Yeah.
That's
Because
my
I started
problem.
Dying Light first, and I was like, I'm like, all right, Dying Light, Witch Queen. I'm not adding any more to my plate until I beat Dying Light. I'm not gonna. Then I'll finish off Horizon. But Horizon is a phenomenal game. Story mode. I mean, story mode. The story is phenomenal. A plus. Graphically, it is amazing. The only thing that it suffers from is being an open world game in a month that was released with a whole bunch of open world games. And it would have been one of the best games of the month if Elden Ring did come out. Elden Ring smashes it because it doesn't handhold you, and Horizon kinda handholds you. Not as bad as a Ubisoft game, but it's
Even
still
more so,
good.
even more so, they're not even really relatable games. But
Right.
because they're both open
Oh,
world games, they're directly compared. As where
exactly.
they're both really good games,
hmm
and they're
Phenomenal.
both just different stylistic games.
Mhm.
But like you said, because it came out in the same month, you're in the same proximity as
You're gonna get that
a
comparison.
game that's probably a game of the year contender, or
Mhm.
both of them were probably game of the year contenders. But I think, and I ain't mean to cut you off, Griff. I think
Go ahead.
it also depends on the audience,
Exactly.
because like
That's
there are people who will play Elden Ring and love it, and there are also other people who play Elden Ring like, this is the worst fucking game I've ever played in my life. Fuck this.
for me,
And
right?
those people will love Horizon.
As you see
Exactly.
in the reviews, a lot of people complain about Elden Ring, but that's because they never actually played a Souls type
Exactly.
game.
Exactly.
A lot of people think, oh, if I never played Souls games, Elden Ring's for me. No, it's not. It's not for you. Don't
But then
do
again,
it.
there are some people who've never played a Souls game and absolutely love Elden Ring.
Sure. It's not very many. Not very many. Like Snarf said, it's a very niche audience. And for those people who don't like Elden Ring, I guarantee you, like you said, they will love Horizon. It's a almost like Horizon. It's almost like a single player Monster Hunter game, kind of in that aspect, because you're fighting against these big machine monsters, but it has more of a better story mode to it. That would be my only fault with Monster Hunter. While it was a great game, the story was kind of meh. It wasn't really the thing that pulled you in. But you don't play Monster Hunter for story. That's not why you're there.
Yeah.
Um, and Horizon, like I said, it's a continuation of one. If you love one, you're gonna love two. I would say go play one before you play Forbidden West because you will be lost on certain things. You don't need to, but in order to get the full experience, I would highly recommend playing the first one. It's like going to go watch Avengers Infinity War and not having seen any of the movies before it. It's like you're gonna like it, but you're not going to get the full experience of it. So I would highly recommend that people go play that. And bar none, it's probably the best game on a PS5 right now as far as being an exclusive title. It takes full advantage of everything. I mean, the game looks absolutely amazing. Sounds amazing, plays amazing. Like I said, the only thing I can really downgrade it for is, like you said, coming out in the month with a whole bunch of other games. It's not the showstopper of the month. Elden Ring was. So I would definitely give it an A plus, close to S tier. It's just it's not on the same level as Elden Ring and Witch Queen for me, and it is a great game. It's just like I said, this is unfortunately it's the same thing happens in Broketober when all those games come out in October. There are things that are going to fall to the wayside or be not as good because it all came out in the same month as something else. So
Hmm.
but it is a great game. I would highly recommend anyone play it, especially if you got a PS5, if you can find one. So
I don't think they're as hard to find anymore.
yeah,
I don't think the demand is there. So
yeah, you just can't. It's not as easy as go in the store and pick it up. If you want one, all you gotta do is wait for the drops, know when they're gonna happen, sign up for a notification. You can snag you one.
well, honestly, I think it might be a little bit easier to actually find one in the store. Because
Oh,
and I don't know, I could be just totally wrong. And think about this, because I could walk in the store any given time now, and there's like 3 Nintendo Switches sitting in the case. As where before, it's like you're not finding that shit anywhere.
yeah, no, definitely wasn't.
So
Definitely
I
wasn't.
think the craze of console market has slowed just a little bit, but also there's also still the shortage in supply itself. So
Exactly. So Dre, you gotta fill us in. Your thoughts on WWE 2K22.
Um, so they have a story mode, and the story is based on Rey Mysterio. Um,
Okay. Interesting. Of
if
all the
if
people
if
they're gonna highlight, that's who they highlight.
but it's for a reason. So
Okay.
this year is Rey Mysterio's last year. He's retiring after this. He's passing down the mask to his son, who's wrestling. This is it for Ray. So they giving us the story. The
like this
story
is real
starts
life, or
off.
this is just the story in the game.
This is real life. This is Ray's last year. He's done after this. Oh, how soon? Don't know. But he already did interviews saying that he's just coming to the end point. He done everything that he could. He's pretty much doing what LeBron wants to do. He's wrestling with his son. Now he's ready to pass down the mask and step away. So the story is about Ray. It starts off with him and Eddie Guerrero, and it goes from the WCW to his latest match against with him and his son against Seth Rollins and
Murphy?
Murphy. Yeah. So it covers from his very beginning of his story of him as a rookie to him as the senior passing down the reins.
That's a lot. A
It's
lot.
not because it's hitting all his highlight matches, what he feel like is
Okay.
his highlight matches.
Okay.
So I was stuck doing that for a week, I want to say. And that's because, I was playing while I was working as well. I enjoyed the story. It actually allowed you to learn the buttons, the new mechanics that they put into the game, as well as learn Ray's story and just to do the highlight moments. Outside of that is my GMO. As y'all know, that shit got me here.
Got a
It
hold
got
on
me
that man.
here. My GMO, it gives you a chance to play as either Stephanie McMahon, Shane McMahon, or the two current GMs which is what's his name?
Paul.
Had you not asked me, I would have known. Jeez.
Right.
Sonya Deville
Sonya
or
Deville and Adam Pierce.
Adam Pierce.
And they also have William Regal, which he is now AEW. But you can play as those GMs and you can choose a promotion. So you can either be on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK. And the purpose of my GM is to put on a show. Right now, I'm getting my ass kicked. I done did two of my GMs, and no matter what, I'm getting my ass kicked. But I'm having fun getting my ass kicked because the matches I'm putting on, I'm like, ain't no way that's a dull moment. This is A1 material,
7
and
cage matches in one night.
right.
Keep the
And
cage out.
I'm looking at my opponents like, you got all these low no names that has no popularity, and they're putting on 5-star matches. It's like there's no hardcore. It's just a normal match, and y'all say this is a 5-star. Get the fuck out of here.
At the same time,
Building
Drake,
it up.
they do have some really good talent, and it's not always the stars that put on the best matches. Like
I mean,
that's
that
kind
is
of
true.
that's how you make more stars. They put in the work. Like for example, I remember when I first used to watch the New Day, and I was just like, these guys are kind of corny. But then I started watching their matches, and they just had classic match after classic match after classic match. I'm like, yo, I fucking love these guys.
They have their
So
showmanship is bar none. Like
yeah,
And I think that's kind of what they're drawn more to. And I just finally realized it's not even just that, it is building a rivalry. So I be building the A1 rivalries, and like at the end of the rivalry, you put them in like one hell of a match, and it's like either it's gonna be a classic or a legendary match.
right.
And I put on probably like 2, 3 rivalries. Like the recent one that I just did was Roman Reigns versus Kofi Kingston, and I put the mugs in the Hell in a Cell match in. That match went on for like, and I watch it. I spectate it. That match went on for like a good 30 minutes. While I'm at work knocking out tickets, I'm watching them like, hey, yo, oh no, he just threw him off the Hell in a Cell.
damn, oh my god.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
off the chair. Oh my
I don't.
god.
So I don't know if you already touched upon this. Is it a buggy disaster like
So,
previous game?
so that's, so this is my next point. The My Creation mode, they've gotten better, but it amazes me that this is done by Take Two, which do all 2K games. How does the basketball game, like the hairstyles, the textures, it looks like real hair? Then when you look at the wrestling game, the hairstyle and textures is like a 2K20, WWE 2K20. It's like, why is it shiny? Why looks like
Like Chris
my
Scarpa hair,
my
bro.
like why my hairline like fading and I have like a long thick dread? It's like, yo, this what are y'all what are y'all doing? So it's like they focus a lot on the engine of how they move and making the characters look more realistic and less shiny, but they miss out on the detail. So I enjoy it because the wrestling mechanics, it looks it looks real good. It looks like what a wrestling game should look like. But we get down to the creation point of it, or looking at some of the superstars, they could have did better, especially if they have an NBA game that the hairstyles look realistic, the movement, everything just looks good.
And
Why
you're
not use
underneath
that
the same
same?
how underneath the same roof. So why not just share the
Yeah,
same resources?
it's
That
like
makes
it's
zero
like
I
sense.
two
think.
it's like two
Uh,
different companies.
well, I think you have to remember it technically is two different companies. So even though they're all under 2K, they're not all allocated the same functionality, the same teams, or that are working here are not working there. The people they have allocated to 2K, it's because 2K brings in all that money. As where WWE is, it brings in funds, but it's not bringing in nowhere near the amount of funds that NBA 2K is.
True,
It's
And so
bad
true.
when you
management.
have teams that are dedicated to NBA 2K, this team is not, working on the facial recognition and the hair texturing and all this stuff for NBA 2K and then moving on to other games. Like, no, we're designated for NBA 2K. So that's kind of like the flagship of the 2K sports games. And
Right.
so they're not gonna share those resources, especially if they're ever gonna need them. Like, I don't think they would ever get to a point where it's just like, yeah, we're doing multiple games. WWE 2K might get to the point where they have their own allocated team to do those things, and I think they're progressively getting there,
Oh,
especially when you compare it to the most previous game that came out and how buggy and terrible that game was.
Well,
I,
they
I
and
might not be because was it
yeah.
EA?
Oh, I'm about to
Go ahead,
get
Trey.
to it. I'm,
Go
I'm about to
ahead.
get to it. I'm about to get to it. And also to answer Snarf's question, there are some people who's experiencing some bad things in it. One of the guys who streams 2K19, and like it looks real good. 2K19 and 2K22 are like real good looking games. But what he has experienced is not what I've experienced. I watched some people play and never blue screen. Characters never jitter on the map. I only blue screen once since I played. He says that he experienced 4 blue screens in one night while streaming. The characters looking like they having seizures on the mat, and I'm like,
the match.
wow, I never seen that a day in my life since I've been playing.
So, um, you bought it on the PS5. What does he have it on?
He's playing on the PS5 as well.
So, like the versions, from what I've been told, is the PS5 is the only next gen version. Everything else, the Xbox ones, the PC ones, and the PS4 ones are the same version. PS5 is the only
Wow.
next gen version.
Dang, they just did Series X like that. Wow.
I,
Okay,
yeah, don't quote me on that. It might be the Series S that I'm thinking about, but I know PS5 is definitely the PC version to be like previous gen is like mind-boggling to me.
They probably just didn't have the time because, I mean, to be honest,
yeah,
they rushed this game. They rushed to kind of get it out the door in a sense. Because remember we were talking about that, Dre? It was like when they did skip a year, and then when they announced
yeah,
it, it was really really soon that when they announced it.
He was getting
yeah.
you could tell WWE, the actual company, was putting the fire to him like, yo, you did us a disservice with that last year. You
Yeah,
better put
it
this
was
out.
definitely more so that from their side.
And also with all the cuts that they had, like I feel like I feel like if WWE didn't make that many cuts that they did to the roster, as well as if 2K didn't skip a year, trying to do everything under this new engine, because it's kind of like the same thing with NBA 2K, how that last year version was pretty much the same, you know, as the year before. I feel like 2K just like, look, we need a gap year to get this so that people can enjoy.
Which
But
honestly
also,
they should already be doing because
You don't need this
and
sports game every
this
single
is
year.
one of the reasons why I don't play NBA 2K. It's just like you're literally putting out the same game every year with an updated roster.
Yeah,
All
not
yep,
you
gonna
do
lie.
is you make a really good promo where it's just like, oh my god, I can see the sweat coming off his fucking forehead every damn year. But who the fuck gives a fuck about sweat coming off your forehead when you're playing the actual game?
right.
And y'all motherfuckers buy that shit every year.
If you take the time out, like I'm a, I don't know what you call it, advocate of, like, games taking their time to come out. You build like a base system for like these 2K games for wrestling, whatever. I think they would be better off as games as a service where it's updating every year on a strong platform.
They would actually make more money that way.
Yeah, it's
But they don't look at it like that.
yeah,
put cosmetics up, and
Well, see, the problem with cosmetics
I
is,
hate and I hate to say this, but put cosmetics and new people up on a kind of like on a Call of Duty paywall type thing.
well, see, the problem with their cosmetics, Dre, is that it's tied to an actual real life brand.
Mm.
And so I know they have specific contracts with these different brands about the percentage of money and that they get versus the sales and whatnot. And so when it's like that, it's hard to, you know,
coordinate.
exactly. Like,
Well,
even
you
remember
gotta
the year we
coordinate.
played. I want to say, when was the last time I played 2K? 16, 18, something like that. Whatever it was. You remember
19
how
or
they
18.
ended up having to make the store free because
Mhm.
everybody was making stuff with brands, and they got to the point where like they really couldn't control the intellectual property that people were using on the game as far as creativity, and they couldn't charge because all these brands were like, well, if you're going to charge for it, then you guys are going to pay us.
Yep.
It's
And
it's as
it
far
all
as
ties into that's why they need to, like Snarf said, a seasonal games and service model, because then you don't need the contracts. You can give your creators time to create stuff that's going to look good. So then you're not constrained by the contracts and you're not constrained by the time.
Yes and no, because I'm not playing 2K without Jays. So
yeah,
like, you
Got a
telling me I got
point.
to make my own shoes and they be Bobos? I don't care how good they look. Nah, I need that jump man
But
on it. Okay.
but see, that's why you incorporate like a base design. So like J's that already came out, but as you introduce a new season, whatever is new shoes about to come out, you put that shoe within that season.
Like
yeah,
basically, if you know you can run the game for 3 years, sign the contract for 3 years. All right, after 3 years, we can renegotiate.
I wouldn't even say 3 years, but like at least two. At least two.
Yeah.
Three
But
might be that
so
sweet spot. I don't know, but I think at least 2 years because it gives you enough time to enjoy a game. You're gonna have these updated rosters and whatnot, versus you literally putting out the same game year over year. You
Yep.
know, I would much rather play the same game for 2 years with updated, service abilities and whatnot, and then the next installment of the game has some substantial changes, as
and,
opposed to it just maybe looking a couple frames better that I really don't notice when I put the game side by side.
and
She
when
look
you
at
do
it.
that, when you update, because they use the same base game, like they got caught for that. I
Mhm.
think it was like 2K something that they had code from 2 years past games that once you start modding on top, refreshing, that game, it breaks down using the same shit. Because, straight up, they got lazy with it. They got complacent. They are still complacent. They're on top. They have the contracts. No one else can do it. And back to WWE, the last solid game that I played was like Raw versus SmackDown. Everything
was a
everything else
different
after
company.
that was broken. Like broke. Even the PlayStation versions, um, what is it? Shut Your Mouth and the other one, and PS2. They were not as broken as these games, and they were significantly smaller games.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They were leaps and bounds smaller. So
Yeah, they got and like you said, you
Yeah,
see the same glitches happening over because, like you said, they're using the same source code. And oh, let's just put a new paint a coat on top and you relaunch it, and those same glitches pop
yeah.
up every single time. It's like now you
Like
know why.
I
So
would love a wrestling game. I love wrestling games. I love wrestling. But if it's gonna be, I hope, according to Dre, it's not as broken as previous. But if it's a solid game, I'll get it. But I have no faith in it. I got to see way more about it.
well,
yeah,
Compared to
Yeah.
lose even more faith because
Yeah.
go ahead, tell them, Dre.
So now, after the conversation we just had, WWE said we're done. It didn't go the way how we planned it to go.
It just
We're going
launched.
we're going to negotiate with EA on a WWE game, and
No,
we're
wrong people.
The problem
yep.
here, the problem here is administration. Like,
Mhm.
first of all, the game hasn't even been out 2 weeks, and you're already upset with what it looks like. Like,
Yep.
that's not enough time to determine whether it's a good game or not. The
To be
problem is
fair,
you
though, they
have someone
really
who
dropped the
wants
ball with that
you
last one.
have and I don't want to blame it on Vince. I don't want to blame it on Vince. But WWE has created an environment where it's just like, if I don't immediately like this product, everybody can get the fuck out. And that's not a way to run a business, especially in video games.
Mhm.
Well,
Oh, they about to find out how
de-
disciplined they're gonna be going to
devil's
EA.
advocate. Like, yeah, WWE is the most successful wrestling brand, but it's like most of their income comes from live shows, television, pay per views. It's like they are at the whim of shit going right first time.
Right.
I don't know the logistics, but I can assume that like if that's still your model in these days, consecutive fuck ups with the
And
amount
that's
of investment is it could be detrimental. So you want things to go right the first time.
but this is a false positive though, or a false negative. And the reason why I say this is, if your last game was so shitty that your player base is now hesitant to buy the new game, you can't blame it on the new game. And I feel like that's what's happening. The last game was so buggy, it was to the point where it was literally unplayable.
I
And
think
now
that's
so many
really what
people
they're
are
getting ready
hesitant
for.
in buying. It's just like, I don't know what this is gonna look like. Let me just wait and see, what people are saying about it.
I think that's where like Vince is looking at it like, had you not messed up the first time, we wouldn't be where we're at now, and now you've hurt our brand to the point where people are hesitant. So we're not going
Yeah,
to take it from you, but we're going to open up the table to let
It,
somebody else see if they can develop a product
it's not
better
even
or as good.
yeah,
and I feel
it's
that way
not
because
even that last time. It's they've
that's how they
been
do
fucking up.
business.
Mhm.
Exactly. They've been fucking up. And it's just to the point where it's just finally unplayable and people are just like, no, fuck this. And that's how, and again, I don't want to just blame Vince. When I say Vince, I mean WWE as a corporate. That's how they do business. If I'm not seeing immediate results or I'm not getting things the way I want it to, then deuces, you know?
Yeah.
And then like
And,
WWE is not really good at doing business in like good faith. And so they have a hell of a
and,
PR team, but they don't really do a lot of good business in good faith. And that's been Vince for years.
I mean,
Years on years on
wrestling
years.
world is backstabby as fuck. If you listen to the
Yes.
stories of like the up and
Yes.
coming, ooh, that is that
It's really
like
bad.
the testosterone is off the charts.
and so the guy that I talked about earlier, when I mentioned to him about the game, me and him pretty much had like a rank, a heavy debate going back and forth while he was streaming. It was funny, but like as I was explaining to him, he had the notion that I was sugarcoating and defending um Take Two. I was like, no, I'm not defending them. Like the issues that you are witnessing, I'm telling you, I have not seen them. And the people that I watch, I've never saw them even when they played. So sorry that was your experience, but not my experience.
Yeah.
But also you saying going to EA is, you're looking for a solution. It's like, no. And so his argument was EA been through so many different presidents, so many different producers and all that. You don't know, it's not the same as what you experienced before. And I'm just sitting here like, no. Every producer, every president that they have, their games have been a money grab and it's been trash. Now, not saying that Take Two is any better, but at least with Take Two, you get kind of a realistic play of their games versus EA. It's like,
To hold the two in my hand, there's more successful titles under 2K's earth than there is EA. I mean, EA has already burned me with Anthem,
and
Battlefield 2042.
So many of their
Mass
games
Effect,
that they have.
Andromeda. Yeah, no, they're striked out with me. They're striked out.
It's all
Yeah.
right. They're gonna find out the grass is not always greener. They're gonna
Mhm.
find out. Let them find out.
And so I was like, man, I just want them to bring back THQ. And he had a rant about that. Toss some, a lot of people just want nostalgic stuff. Yeah, because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Why
their
would I? Yeah,
game.
why would I not want to have fun
Oh,
Their
when I knew I
games
used to
yeah.
have
weren't
fun?
broken. Like
Mhm.
wrestling has always been like, yeah, there's some bugs, but like the shit we've seen modern days, it's
Terrible.
like call the
Like
Better
it
Business
can't be that
Bureau. This
hard.
this this is no good.
It's literally bait and switch is what it is.
Yeah.
It's literally bait and switch. And you're getting upset at me because I'm not accepting it for what it is. It's like, no, I expect better from you.
Yeah.
I expect a better product. And I'm not
And
gonna continue to sit here and just take your shitty ass product. Like that's just what it is.
and then put the cherry on top of what we're all just speaking about, how games should take a break. Finally, somebody listened. There will be no Call of Duty coming out. No new Call of
Granted,
Duty coming out in
that was more of
2023.
like a let's read the room.
No,
That was not a business decision. That was a let's read
So
the room.
like uh, their official statement is it has nothing to do with Microsoft. They said that they were busting out too many, and they weren't giving enough quality time to each other.
Right.
It's like
So it
Mike,
only took you almost 20 years to realize that you might have been putting them out a little bit too fast. And
yeah.
there's no progression from game to game. Yeah, it only took you
Microsoft
20
came in
years
there
to
and
figure it
said,
out.
"All right, y'all got all this allegations going on. We're gonna put the stop on this because you don't need this. We don't need this every year. Your productivity, your sales are actually going down. You're selling more, but your ratings and people's thoughts of your product is going down. So we're gonna put the hold on this for 1 year, and we're gonna reevaluate."
So
And they needed to do that.
the next game that's coming out is Modern Warfare 2.
Yep, this year. Yep.
And well, they said they're just not happy with the way it's going, so they need another year. And with everything going on, probably a good idea because you know what was Modern Warfare 2 originally about. It was about
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that is very true. So they'll be coming out with Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 in the same year. So we'll see if they can be as successful as Modern Warfare 1 and Warzone 1 was. So that'll be a very interesting take to see. And like I said, going on with current events, all the video game companies are pulling all their games and storefronts out of was it
Yeah,
Russia and it's a couple other areas as well.
Belarus.
Yeah, and just to play devil's advocate, I believe they are doing the right thing, but I believe people like pulling the Russia storefront that also affects people in like in some other countries around there to use the Russia storefront that have nothing
Yeah,
to do with the conflict that's going on. So, but unfortunately, you're I wouldn't say innocent bystander, but kind of like what's going on over there. You have innocent bystanders getting hurt in a
I mean,
conflict. So
pull it, do what you gotta do. So,
exactly.
in response to that,
Hmm.
I just saw this earlier this morning. Russia essentially legalized piracy in their
Yeah, so
country. They
bad
they
news.
they put like a memorandum on their intellectual property laws, and we're like, all right, if you're not going to sell to us, fuck you. We're just going to take it.
Well, they're doing that for like physical brick and mortar stores too, like McDonald's. Like this, like, oh, we're pulling out. It's like, all right, so you do that. We're just gonna put somebody inside the building, call it Rick Ronald's, and we're gonna sell your same crap out of there, and
Yeah,
we'll just take all the profits. It's like, yeah, that's sad,
I
man.
mean, so like a lot of tech companies, over 200, 300 companies are pulling out. It's like you got YouTube, Facebook, and then they have like half measure companies. I think what is this? Hold on, I'm looking at something right here. Like TikTok has like limited availability on it, and then PayPal is still available, but you can't make any transactions at this time. Like they cut off all transactions with PayPal, so that's good. Like, yeah, shit is real today. Shit is
It is. It is. We live in a different world where you do have to stand up and make responses on things. So
couple of people can just turn the world on its head. Like ridiculous.
And
Yeah.
like the crazy thing about the whole situation is the people who live in Russia is like, we don't even want this. We didn't even ask for this. And because of your greediness, now we're affected. Like not only games, but movie companies. Like they're not releasing movies over
So
here.
many things that they're getting affected by. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, and there is also a large population that just buy into the rhetoric because what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like I don't know anymore. News everywhere is just fucking with you. Like
It is.
I look at you, I look at CNN and I look at Fox and I look at all that stuff. Like if I do watch it, if I'm like passing by when one of my family members is watching TV, that's when I'll look at it and I'm like, are you actually fucking with me? Are you yeah. So I mean, it's rough
It's a
out there.
lot.
It's rough
It
out
is.
there. Hmm.
And to round our last two stories out, we go with two things. So Forspoken, which looked amazing, they dropped a new trailer recently on the PlayStation State of Play. It was pushed
Yeah.
back to October. Looks very interesting, looks good, but I'm glad they delayed it. But it worries me because when a game is pushed back half a year, can you really fix the issues that made you push it back?
I think I think I th- Forspoken. Who's it made by?
Square Enix.
I
Square
know where you're going
Enix.
with that. I know where you're going
Hmm.
with that, Griff. And that's funny. So
Uh,
if it takes so long, is it ever really broken, or are you just
Right,
delaying the inevitable?
exactly. And we've seen it with,
yeah.
Halo to a sort of an extent. Like, while it did get fixed from what they showed us, it's still inherently flawed, kind
We've seen
of,
it
in
with
its
Halo. We've seen it
Is
particular.
it?
with Cyberpunk.
Exactly,
Well, yeah.
exactly.
Cyberpunk.
Battlefield. So it's like, can we really fix the issues there? And I'm jaded because of, like I said, the games that I mentioned earlier on the EA side, I've been burned on. So it's like, we'll see. But Destiny
Yeah,
has
no,
proven otherwise.
I don't think
Destiny
I'll
has
ever buy
proven,
another EA game. Not
yeah,
in not in the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
yeah,
42. Like they they
so much
they
promise.
got me. They got me. It's
Yeah.
like this game looks beautiful. This game looks fun. It looks fun. But then as you're playing, it's like
I'm waiting
Uh-oh.
for the fun to happen.
this is fun. This is fun. And like I found out why. Like I feel like I know why it's not fun. It's a
It's
flat world. It's like
it is. It's missing everything that made Battlefield great. The
there's no
sound,
level. There's no level
pacing.
design.
There's no level design like in the qu- in the close sense, right?
Yeah, like
Like, and it's just like,
there's like Battlefield 4, the city map where it was the
it was
city, the
amazing.
It's
subways,
Shanghai.
and then you had the other city. That's level design. That's you had ins and outs. You had choke points. You had kill boxes. You like everywhere you
You
go,
also
you
don't
don't know
have the
what you're
same
doing.
devs there anymore. So
Yeah, but it's
It's
like
a shame
this
that a
game.
game from that far ago
You
looks way
you can
better and
see
plays better.
dudes all across the map because it's a flat plane.
yeah, I can see everybody.
There's no level design. Like
Like
Mhm.
there was literally like I remember the first day we were playing. There was literally a map where as soon as you spawn in, you go over this sand hill and you see 15 enemies just laying on the sand hill. It's just like, okay,
yeah,
who wants a bullet? Because I've got 7, so
Yep.
I
you know.
think 90% of the problem with the new Battlefield is the level design. It's just
hmm
it's like
It
playing
looks
like
good.
Minecraft on
you
flat
had a
world.
you had like a blueprint. Like they left a blueprint for you. Like how do you deviate so much from
I mean, we know
that
why.
blueprint?
We know
I
why.
blame. Well, as I found out, when the director of your game was the leading director of Candy Crush, you're doomed to fail. You put the director of Candy Crush to lead Battlefield.
Yeah,
Why?
To
That
be
like
does not
fair,
translate. That does not translate.
Candy Crush is pretty good. Like,
Candy
It
Crush is.
is,
I
but
think Candy Crush
mechanically,
is the best game in the world. Like
to
period.
be
Right.
fair, Candy Crush is the best game in the world, Griff.
Most
So,
played game in the world at least. Right.
you
there's
know,
no there's no correlation between Candy Crush and Battlefield. Like, the
At
mechanics
all.
are so
I
you
mean, well,
he should not have
that's
been
that's a
there.
business world issue.
hmm
That's a business world issue. That's I don't think that's a video game issue. I think that's a business world issue. You just because you have a layer of success or a high layer of success, in this situation doesn't mean this person is going to be transferable to this situation. And they're not even the same type of company or game.
Yeah.
And so I don't really get caught up in CEOs or presidents because they're nothing but a figurehead to the board. So they're just the fall guy
Yeah.
more so
It's
than. And EA doesn't really have a good track record, so I don't even really blame him. So
what can you blame him? Or did he do exactly what he was hired to do?
exactly,
Make money.
Exactly.
He made a
blame
lot of
Paul.
awesome trailers.
He made the money.
He made
This is what I
like he's successful. That's it.
He
They
made the money, and
he got a promotion. Like that's it.
and that's exactly right, Snarf. Because again, we all sat here and said EA is a shitty ass company. We're not gonna buy this game. And then what did we do? We bought this game. We all literally sat here and said, we're not allowing EA to do this to us. And we fucking sat here and said, take my money.
They got us. They got us.
And they got us again.
That trailer was so good.
It was. Not even that. The gameplay, when they was actually showing the gameplay,
Yeah.
looked good. It was just hollow. We didn't know we were getting a hollow
Yeah,
experience.
We knew, but we didn't want to know. We saw the red
Yeah.
flags.
Yes.
We watched 3 trailers and said there's no gameplay, but that fucking trailer, oh my God. That's literally what we sat here and said. We literally watched that first trailer, the reveal, and Snarf was the first person who said it. Snarf said, there's no gameplay. So keep that in mind. We saw the second trailer. Very minimal gameplay. So keep that in mind. We saw the third trailer. Oh my God. They're giving us a whole bunch of different stuff except gameplay. So keep that in mind. And we got to go. And we got the game. And then it was after a week, it was just
we
like,
had the
okay.
beta drop. We did have the beta drop.
We did have the beta drop.
We had to buy the game to get the early beta.
Which again should have been a red flag.
You're right.
But then we got the game and it was like a Wale album. It was good for a week. Mad respect to Wale because I love Wale, but it was good for a week, and after that, it's just kind of like, I'll see you when I see you.
Should I just run through the Sony State of Play games?
Don't. It's not even worth it. It's not even. Well, only thing worth mentioning is the co-op to Returnal.
Oh,
That's gonna be fun. Yeah.
I did see that.
Co-op for it. The survival mode and co-op to Returnal's looking like that's gonna be.
And that's not saying that the games were bad on State of Play. It's just like I feel like I've been all these games here. I've heard about them like for years. Like Forspoken, I'm already sold on Forspoken, so I don't need another trailer.
Right.
But then Capcom came out with the dinosaur horde mode.
That looks interesting, but Exoprimal, I think it's
Yeah,
called.
I'll wait till it comes out.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Ghostwire, I'm already sold. I didn't need another trailer. You know, it's just reiterates what's happening. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Get it.
So last question we ask before we get on out of here. Sony is making a deal with Amazon to produce a God of War TV series. It's a 2-part question. Being God of War fans, what part would you want them to focus on? Would you want them to start at the beginning, or would you want them to start on the new game? Not the new game, the 2018 version. And who would you want to play as Kratos?
Let me answer this, Snarf. I can answer both questions in one word. Burgers.
Burgers. In the direction of
burgers. I rest my case.
For anybody that doesn't know that, there's a YouTube video of magnificent God of War rendition. It's yeah. I don't even. I wish I had the name right now. Big shout out.
We should have prepared.
Should have prepared.
we weren't prepared for that. Oh my goodness. As you're talking, I'm gonna see if I can find it. Go ahead. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick.
Real quick.
It doesn't need to be a Greek guy, does it?
No.
It can be anybody, right?
He's a black guy. It's a black
guy. Yeah. If it's the voice actor for the current God of War, yeah, put him on. Put him on. I'm sold. Teal'c from Stargate. Yeah.
What do you think? Should they start at the beginning of the game series, or should they start where God of War 2018 started at?
Honestly, they could do either one, and I'd be here for it. Either one. I think there's a lot more subject matter if they start with the younger Kratos, and I think that'd be a lot more socially accepted. As where if they do stuff now, continuity wise and spoiler wise, you don't want to take away from your game.
I just thought of an analogy. I don't even know if that's the right word. I watch Star Wars in a certain order.
I did
Okay.
too.
I watch A New Hope,
4, 5, 6.
and then I watch Solo. No. I watch 4, 5, and then Solo. When Solo gets kidnapped, and then I watch his backstory. And then I watch 6. I would like God of War to take the same type of route. I would like to see
In between.
God of War with his son, because then new people that are introduced said, who's this guy? Oh, he's supposedly a badass. Why is he a badass? Then the next season, go back to his origins and find out why he's a badass.
Mm.
Let me ask you this, Snarf, because I think that's a great idea. Would you accept the current God of War prior to the game? Like where his wife is still alive and they have Artreus. And then a backstory. And then it comes back to, after the game comes out, the pieces that we may not see in the forefront of the game.
That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. I like that.
And before you answer, I feel like there's also a lot of things that are going to be revealed about that time period in this new game.
In the new game. I think just for suspense and like, because I'm trying to build like the narrative of suspense, like, oh, who's this dude? He is a badass. He has a son. Who was he before? We find out. And then like season 3 or something is game 2 of the new God of War series. You know, they jump back and forth just to keep that suspense. It's like, oh, who was his wife? Would that be, do we want to build a connection to his wife? The wife dies, and then in season 3 we find out all of her secrets. Like, it's just how do you what's the timeline that you want to present it to the audience for the bigger effect? You know, so yeah, I would say that's good. That's good. Like, introduce her in the first season, but then she inevitably dies, and then go on with the Atreus and Kratos story.
An actor who I think could, I don't know if they could pull off the voice, but they could get the physicality. Jason Momoa could probably get the physicality of it right, but I don't think I don't know if he could get the acting.
He's not going to
part
shave
of
his
it
head.
right.
Not going to shave his head.
Not gonna shave
He
his head.
might. He shaved his beard and the shit was scary as fuck. But I think we got to get away from the typecasting.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because I feel like it'd be way too easy to just throw someone like a Jason Momoa in there, and then as where they could do it, I feel like someone else would do a better job at it. Like, I think Jason Momoa did fantastic at Game of Thrones, but if Jason Momoa was Jason Momoa and then did Game of Thrones, I don't know if it'd have the same effect. If you get what I'm saying.
True. And it's got
Go get one of the guys that played in 300 then.
Ashes also, like, because the whole big part of the story is that it's like cursed with the ashes of his family.
Mm-hmm. Did you just say that Gerard Butler should play Kratos?
No. I said go get one of the people from 300 to play him.
No. Go get Michael Jai White. Let him play
Michael Jai White.
Kratos.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that as long as he doesn't do his weird, sexy look. Like,
no, he's got to do this. He's got to do the Spawn voice, and he'd fucking kill that shit. Like, you can't tell me you wouldn't watch that shit. Like, he's fucking got it. He's literally huge. Fucking Kratos, bro.
He's enormous. Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Absolutely. Michael J. White, I'm sold.
Like, I would be sold, and it's funny because I'm thinking about that. I would be sold with Michael J. White playing Kratos now because Michael J. White is older. He's got the older mannerisms. He's got the look of a weathered man.
I think he can do the voice.
Not saying he's old, but he
Yeah.
could definitely do the voice. Like, I'd be fine with him doing that. And then
Voice is the
just
part
hearing
you
Michael
gotta
J. White
nail.
saying "boy," that shit's
Boy.
Matter of
Shit's
fact,
fucking
there
good.
you go. For the trailer, that's all you gotta do. You just show. You don't even show the whole face. Just show his eyes, and he be like, "Boy," and then
And
just
then
cut.
cut to black.
Just
Just cut to black, and that's it.
You're good to go. You're good to go. That's all you got to do. Oh man, but that's where we're gonna stop at for today. Hopefully, we can get some. Well, we're not gonna get no teasers for that no time soon, but we'll get more information trickle out about that, and hopefully, we can get some more information about our Bungie, our Destiny TV show, because we know it's gonna happen. We know it's gonna happen. But we're gonna close it out on here, folks. Thank you for joining us, and catch us next week on another episode.
Deuces.
Later.
Peace out.